NHL regular season recap, night 113, and we kick things off with the Caps taking on the Panthers. And I don't really want to talk about this one because it went about as everyone would expect, but the Panthers win it by a final score of 4-2. Ovechkin opens the scoring, so that's good, but from there it's pretty much all Cats. Tkachuk ties it at 1-1, Mantha makes it 2-1 Capitals, and then from there it's Reinhart that ties things heading to the third, and then Lomberg and Luostarinen both scoring to make it a 4-2 final. The Panthers outshot the Caps horrifically. It was 41-23, 13-13 in the first, 12-4 in the second, and 16-6 in the third. Darcy Kemper, as a result, a .925 save percentage despite giving up 3 goals on 40 shots, while Bobrovsky gives up 2 on 23 for a .913. The worst save percentage, but he'll take the 2 points all day long. Again, a 4-2 victory for Florida. The Jets visiting Philadelphia talk about a culture shift, and they did not handle it well in this one. In the first period, it was all Philly. Ty Forrester, Travis Konechny, and Morgan Frost all scoring in the first. 3 goals on 13 shots. It was a very dominant period for Philly. In the second, Ryan Poehling adds a 4th, despite being outshot 3-15 by the Jets, making it 4-0 Flyers after 2. Kyle Connor would break the shutout bid for Sam Ersson in the third with about 5 minutes to play, but nonetheless, it is a 4-1 victory for Philadelphia over a Jets team that has not had the best start since the All-Star break. Brossoit got the start in this one. He goes 17 for 21. Sam Ersson, of course, 28 for 29, a .966 save percentage, and he's actually been pretty good for the Flyers since taking over the starting role in the absence of Carter Hart. This is a big win for Philly. They're looking to stay alive in the East in general, but especially in this highly competitive Metro. They improved to 27, 19, and 6, and they hang on to that third spot for yet another night. It's a 4-1 final. The Bruins hosting the Canucks, and I was at 2/3 of this game, and it really wasn't all that pretty. The Bruins scored 2 shorthanded goals in the first, Brad Marchand and Danton Heinen. Of course, I did not see those two. And then, of course, a minute into the second period, it's Morgan Geekie and Pavel Zacha, 15 seconds apart. And the game is really over from that point. So the Canucks were better in the second period, a low-shooting third, 9 shots between the two teams, only 25-17 in the entire game, that being, of course, in favor of the Bruins. Not Thatcher Demko's best night, just 21 of 25, while Linus Ullmark gets the shutout, albeit only 17 saves, but all in all, a pretty good night for him and for Boston. It's a 4-0 shutout victory over Vancouver. The Avalanche taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. This one was kind of a wild one all the way through. The shots ended up being dead even, 27-27, but in the first period, it's Martin Necas with a natural hat trick to get things going. Minute 52 in, 6:25 in, and 16:51 in. With about 30 seconds left in the period, Zach Parise would end the shutout bid early, making it 3-1, and just 5 seconds after that goal, Sam Girard dumps the puck in from just inside the red line. That beats Kochetkov, and suddenly, despite being up 3-0 10 seconds ago, the Canes are now only up 1 heading into the second period. That would be the end of Pyotr Kochetkov's night. He gives up 2 goals on 8 shots in the first. In the second, Michael Bunting adds 1 to make it 4-2. We head to the third, where Seth Jarvis buries the empty netter to make it a 5-2 final. Again, dead even on the shots. The score does not reflect that at all. We have the natural hat trick. We have one of the weirder goals of the entire season to this point. And all in all, it's a 5-2 victory for Carolina. It's been a rough exit of the All-Star break for the Avalanche. They're now 0-2-1 out of the break. They did, of course, have 3 games in 4 nights. That's not easy to do for all the guys coming off their vacations and the guys that were in Toronto, yada, yada, yada. It's not excuses, of course, but not a good start for them exiting the All-Star break. They do still sit first in the Central, but definitely got to pick it up. They don't want to go on too long a slump, despite the lead that they do have in the West and in the Central in general. A 5-2 final here for Carolina. The Devils hosting the Flames, and it's a really solid performance from Jacob Markstrom in this one. He stops 37 of 40 for a .925 save percentage and the victory. In the first, Palat and Backlund trade goals to make it 1-1. Connor Zary makes the lead 2-1 in the second, and then in the third, it's Rooney, Hischier, Kuzmenko, and Palat all scoring. Mangiapane with the empty netter with about a minute and a half to go, making it a 5-3 final for the Flames. Again, as has been the case for the last month and some change, looking to climb out of the Pacific basement into a playoff spot. The Devils looking to do the same in the Metro, but the Flames find the right side of the win column in this one. It's a 5-3 victory. Frankly, Jacob Markstrom just the better goalie than Vitek Vanacek tonight, and that was, at the end of the day, the difference maker. The Islanders taking on the Lightning, and this one was an ugly one for the Bolts as a whole, but specifically for Jonas Johansson. He gives up 3 goals on 14 shots in the first period and another 3 on just 7 in the second. And by that point, of course, the game is over as well for the Lightning. Nikita Kucherov and Brandon Hagel scoring the only 2 goals. They outshoot the Islanders 10-3 in the third to try to bring things back to even, but it would stay a 6-2 final. The Islanders outshooting them 24-20, a .750 save percentage for Jonas Johansson in the loss, while Sorokin stops 18 for 20 for 900 save percentage. Really, the difference is just an AHL goalie versus a very good NHL goalie. You can't have a .750 save percentage and expect to win a game, and that was, of course, not what happened tonight for the Bolts. So it's a 6-2 win for the Islanders. They're now 4th in the Metro, while the Bolts are 4th in the Atlantic. These two teams both scrapping for a playoff spot. I don't think the Islanders find a way to hold on to one, but if they face more goalies like Johansson, maybe they find their way in. Not pretty here, 6-2. Final game of the night, the Golden Knights taking on the Arizona Coyotes, and it's 3 goals on 6 shots early by Connor Ingram, and that's pretty much where the game ends too. Jason Zucker does score 1 to make it 3-1 headed to the second. Keller adds another in the second to make it interesting the rest of the way, but just never quite enough to tie it for the Coyotes. For the Golden Knights, Aiden Hill, as he has been all year, is very, very good. Not astounding numbers, but 20 for 22, a .909 save percentage, definitely better than 3 of 6 and a .500 save percentage. So nothing crazy, but definitely good enough for the win against the Coyotes team that's kind of middle of the pack as they have been all year. But as expected, a win here for the Golden Knights. And that's going to be it for NHL regular season recap, night 113. A pretty quiet schedule on Friday as we had tonight, Thursday, but nonetheless, we'll talk to you guys then. Enjoy your night.